Well, I think one of the things that is really important is because Two Human is kind of a hybrid action RPG game, there's a lot of different systems that have gone into each side, but at the end everything has to intertwine and it has to connect, and both systems have to complement the other. And I think, you know, if I could just speak towards our ultimate goal, we really want to achieve the part where the action guy is standing there and he's doing some great combos and he sees an RPG guy and he goes, oh my, how did you get that? I gotta get that. I gotta get that piece of armor that looks so cool, I want that. And the RPG guy is standing there going, look at all of my loot. I've been getting all this loot for days. And he looks and he sees the action guy do this great combo and he raises his combo bar and he clears out this room super fast and he goes, how did you do that really cool thing? And the action guy's like, oh, you do this and then this and then this. Yep. And the RPG guy gets interested and he starts to want to do it. And I think that really starts from the ground up, from a very fundamental philosophy of having both of the cores play off each other. So one of the first things I think is the item structure. And one of the things that's really cool about the game is we've got 6 full fleshed out rarity levels.
Yeah, well, and that is cool. And on top of that, just so it might not have been clear, the human alignment when you're into the RPG system really lends itself towards the Twitch gamer, and the RPG alignment really adds itself to sort of the number crunching kind of thing. And Robin, you set all that stuff up. What are your sort of thoughts on the number of permutations, combinations, epic loot?
In a way, that's true. In a way, the cyber definitely tends more toward the just the power gamer that wants to go through and destroy things and get the most hit points and cares about stats and that kind of stuff. Whereas the more Twitch skilled gamer would side toward human. But the human also has more sockets in all of his equipment. So as you get up to really high levels, you can socket different stuff in your equipment to actually min-max your stuff better than the cyber guy might be able to. So both of them have strong RPG aspects, even though at early levels they seem to just side toward one or the other.
Well, I think the first thing that you're going to notice is that the human player has a bunch of choices that really rely a lot on the combo meter and the combo system. And things like building up your hit counter to use more runers and more of his battle cries and things like that. I think that really plays off the human. So right off the bat, probably the learning curve for the human, what he's doing with the hit counter and the combo meter is a bit higher, where the cyber guy, he's really encouraged off the bat to start doing things like, you know, getting the bigger, bulkier equipment. You know, one thing actually to go backwards a tiny bit is if you look at all of the equipment variety, we have tons of different weapon types, tons of different handedness, tons of different armor pieces that go all across the body, and you can mix and match these things. You take the cybernetic side, for example, and you give them the cannon, right? Which it's a slower strafe speed, but this thing is just, you know, it's the cannon from Predator, and you're just railing guys. It makes the cybernetic guy super duper empowered from that standpoint. And I don't know, I think like Zach, you know, you guys worked a ton on making these armor pieces look totally different, and you know the whole goal is this guy looks completely different than anyone else, and I don't know, what were your opinions on how that worked out, and what do you think?
I thought it went really well, especially with the runers being on board, the weapons for the cybernetic. I mean, you get them and you play through, and you are a tank when you're going through cyber, but when you're on human, I find that the game has a different rhythm when you're playing. Like you're building up your combo meter, and then you're setting off these runers. And level 1, you have 1, and level 2, 3, and 4, they're all different.
The runers for the humans are awesome. Yeah. When I was playing at first, I thought, okay, I'm going to take the cannon every time. Yeah. Then I saw those, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah. But I think the great thing is when we first started thinking about Two Human, we wanted to make it very accessible. And before these elements were put in, a lot of people were really worried that there was no penalty for death. And you know, we do the very typical things where, you know, you start back at the beginning of the room, and we want to make sure there's not a lot of backtracking, but we do some damage to armor that you have to repair. But really, it was just a little bit of a money sink until we put this stuff in, and then people lost their combo level, their experience bonuses, and they're like, no, and it was all came down to dying is really bad for your just progression. And you know, I don't know if people realize, but you're sliding and you're attacking so much faster when your combo meter's up. It's like your fuel and your gasoline.
And the thing is, the fuel, actually, it's funny because Ken Lobb just loves the combo fuel analogy with the goblins, because you really use them to build up your combo meter. The thing is, it resonates so much throughout the game. Like, for example, Mike, you might want to comment, like on the setups, right? We have a lot of these setups where we'll throw a lot of the combo fuel at you, and then we'll give you the tough choices. We'll throw a bunch of these leaders and stuff. Maybe you want to talk more about that.
Well, I mean, specifically, we went through each room looking for unique environmental setups, ways to make the player put the player in a different situation every time out. But at the same time, we want to trail in more and more enemies so that the RPG guys get enough of their fuel, as you say, and enough little bonuses here and there to really make it worthwhile for them to be in each room, right? And want to replay that room over and over and over and over.
So one thing we really touched on a little bit, and Mike, you actually worked on this a lot, is we've got this really robust collecting system where you can gather items from killing enemies. You've got elite enemies that give you better loot drops and better tables. You've got all these classes of rarities. And one of the things that Mike went through a lot and did was placing of the obelisks, which, you've got this great collecting game, and what's kind of the fun without treasure chests and things hidden in the corner, so.
Right. I mean, we tried to place them all over the place and strategically throughout the game. You'll get them, I'm not going to say at what kind of rates, but they'll be around. Those little destructibles you can get your hands on, money pickups and health drops and everything like that, but you really want to look for the big treasure chests.
Yeah, well, I think one of the great things is when you've got a big epic encounter and it basically opens up that obelisk and you just can't wait to get it. Right. And one of the things too is that as you replay through the game, you actually go through different setups. And all of the obelisks and the placements and stuff like that change as well. So where you think you've been hunting and exploring, that kind of mixes up. But one thing that nobody's really addressed, and I don't know, maybe someone wants to touch on it, that I really love, because it's the perfect marriage to me of action and RPG, is those arena challenges.
We added these more or less, really strong pit fights, if you will, fight to the death, either you or them. If you manage to get through, then you're going to get some big prizes. The obelisks at the end normally are a little bit more stacked up than you would find, but getting through them tends to be quite the nightmare. I'm working away the other day, and all of a sudden I hear, "Oh no!"
That was me.
I
was so mad.
Some words I cannot say, right now at my work, came out of the office, right next to me. And Dennis is not a quiet man. So when he was one guy away from beating this arena.
So mad.
And he was just the regular guy that just, one little health bar left.
First of all,
pissed.
I might have something to do with it.
The design director set me up, so I just finished clearing everything. I got past the last leader and the one in the ice force. You have to go up like all these levels. I've finally killed everyone, and I'm just got like probably 10% health, and then Henry goes, there's just a couple goblins there, you can kill them. And he knew they were status effect goblins, so I killed them, and they had poison, and I was trying to run to the obelisk to get some life, and I died just before I got him. I was so mad. I was so mad.
I had to leave.
Yeah.